Hello guys, this is Marcus again, and today we are going to learn how to create these checkboxes. So as usual, I will walk you through what I want to teach, let's say this way, tonight, and then we can start. So I will press Control plus, I don't know how to call that in English, but we can go here like right button, then we can hide our UI. No, Control plus backslash. Yeah, so Control plus backslash we can show and we can hide our UI, and that means we have these inspector panel, to see the properties of each element, like this one. If I click here, I can see all the properties it has, and then I can change things over here. So inspector panel, here we have the layer panel, and here we have the main toolbar where we can change things. So I'm hiding that to have more free space. Then I will zoom out so we can see all the things. I really like this approach. Many designers they don't, and that's normal. Each one has his own way of working and designing stuff. So here we have the items. I really like to have this sort of perspective, seeing things, this big picture. Then we can dig more into things we want to really do. So we have things separated here, let's say this way. We have this element. Let me zoom in a little more. So we have this element here, this element here, this element here. Then we have texts, right? So they are atoms. And then when we go join atoms, we have molecules. You know that, and I'm quite sure that if you follow my tutorials, this is something familiar to you. So with molecules, we have we are joining things. So we have this one here unselected and this selected because we joined elements together. So we have molecules. And after that, when we join many molecules, we have organisms. It's hard to pronounce. Organisms, right? So we have like a group of molecules here, and we have unselected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Then we have the selected one in this example. And going deeper, we can set up templates, which means we can take this element and place into some view, some screen. Then we can have buttons and other bars like status bar. We can have Android navigation bar as well, but we don't have real information yet. Things they aren't populated with real information, so they are a template. We have a title up here too. Then finally we have pages. Like now I have let's suppose real title, real texts, and this checkbox and a real button. So I have a page. So let's do this, but before that's important to mention as well the states, because the interface, it has states. There are more states, but I think that those here I brought to you, they are enough. So remember that states. We can have less, we can have more, depends the project you are building up. So, but here I would like to talk a little about these 4 states. We have the unselected, which means the component is available to be selected. Here I have a selected component. Here it's unselected and disabled, which means people can't select this one. And here we have the component selected and disabled, which means someone selected for some reason, but that's impossible to unselect by this point. All right, so let's jump into today's tutorial and do those things together. So let's start by the beginning, like I always enjoy doing. Let's do things together. I will have this screen over here. Then I will show up all the parts that I need so we can start doing things together. I will ungroup this one and ungroup this one too, because I like to do groups. It's easier to move things around. So we have this checkbox. It's a good practice to work with 8 pixels grid, which means I have something here, like I will type 8 by 8. I could have some element here. Let's suppose that I have stroke here, 1, and then 8 by 8. If I want to have some element a little bigger, I will use 16 because I'm multiplying things. Then if I want to have something even bigger, 24, just like this one. Let me lock this shape here because I don't want to select without reason, without wanting. And we have this one here. We have 2 pixels for the thickness, the border thickness. It's a little round as well. 2, so we can have 2 here too. Right, so we are doing things this way, like I said before. And if I want to have, I don't know, perhaps it's not a good practice, but let's suppose that we have some checkbox this measure, this size, too big. I am multiplying again, you know, 8, 16, 24, and 32. 8, then more 8, I'm increasing 8, 8, 8, and so on. You got the point. So just draw. We can press R. You can draw like a box, whatever size, but here it's important to type 24 by 24 to work with the same measure I'm working. So things, they will be the same for you and for me. Here we'll type 2. We are talking about this border radius. If you are familiar with interface design 2 here, you know that interfaces, they aren't different. And I mean by that, every interface will have text, buttons, photos, icons, and illustrations, basically. You know, we can have another sort of components, but it's pretty much the same. So it's important to master things, and then you will be familiar to build up your own things. Here I don't want to have any fill, so I will click here. We can hide or we can really delete, having no fill. It's important to name the layers as well. Sometimes I don't do that because I taught that in the very in the first tutorials, let's say this way, and then I am assuming that you understood the importance of that, and I don't need to go deep into that every tutorial. So I'm assuming that you got the point and you are doing that by yourself, but it's important to name things. So let's call here checkbox. Good. So we have this first one, just like this one. We can just press Ctrl D if you are using Windows, or Command D if you are using Mac. Then we will click here, fill. Let me see the color. The color, it's gonna be 0083 CD. So you can like copy or type whatever, and we don't have stroke over here, so we can hide or we can really remove. We could even name things like this checkbox. It's the name of the component, let's say this way. I'm not teaching components yet. In the future I will, but it's not the moment. So just checkbox, just to organize things. Then we can have unselect that. Is that right? Unselect that, right. Here I can go like small caption, it's not a problem. Here I can go small caption too. This one will be selected, right? But here I need to have one more element, this check mark, this little icon. How can we do that? It's pretty easier. I will go closer. We just need to press P, so we get this pen tool, P for pen. Click here, something like this. It's good because then we can adjust things the way we want. It's more or less like this. This second line, this second thing, it's a little higher, right? Good. It's not so good yet, but we can like select, then press enter, and we are free to move things around. Like I'm doing some adjustment like this. Then I believe I would like to have this line stroke a little thick. Then I can adjust things like this. For me, that's okay. I will reduce its size, like it's 13 by 8.5. Okay, it's not a problem. Let's see how that fits into the element we already have. We can measure things out. See that? Follow me. We can press Alt and point to this blue background. So we have 8 over here, 7.5 here, 5 here, and 6 here. I will select, click, press and drag to select both of them. I can center in the vertical and horizontal. Then I will measure again. 6, 5. Well, I will adjust a little more. I can press and I can push and hold the shift, so we can scale this way without distorting things. And then we go measuring like 6, 6, 6, 8, 9. Not good yet, my opinion. So we can adjust 8, 8, 6, 6. Yeah, it will not be perfect, you know, it's important to mention, but you can do your best, right? The importance is it has to be aligned in the center here and the center here. The color, it's gonna be white, FF, 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 enter. So we have this white thing. We can call that icon, this vector. The name is gonna be icon, right? So we could even group these two things. Control G, then we call all this group. Clicking twice here, Control C, twice here, Control V, and then I'm gonna call this one here background, right? So we have this background and we have this icon, and the group is named checkbox selected. All right, so we just started doing our things, and now I will select this first one and I will click here. Let's start doing some components. Create component. This one too, create component. And the reason we call those things like having this structure like checkbox slash unselected, checkbox slash selected, is because it's easier to select our components. I will do some screenshot over here just to make that easier to understand, right? I will paste it here. Now you can see a little bigger, right? So we name it this way: checkbox slash selected, checkbox slash unselected, and then things inside of this component. And why is that important? That's important because we can swap between the components. Important thing, when we have these 4 diamonds, they are master components. Like we added things. I showed you before in many tutorials. Like I will press Ctrl D over here. Now You know, I don't have this name anymore, like these four little diamonds. When I select here, you can see the difference. I will do one more screenshot over here just to show you how things work. I like to talk about that, you know. Okay, good. So we got this thing here. See the difference? It's pretty clear now. When I have the copy, the instance, it's just one big diamond not filled. And here we have four little diamonds and they are filled. So this one is the master component. Let's say I have many of them here. Many of them. And let's suppose that our brand color is blue, but let's suppose that the art director, the design that was focused on visual design, validated some new color palette, and we have to change in all components, all instances. So we just need to select here and go changing this color, and all the instances, you know, the copies will be affected. This one is the master. We don't do layouts. We don't do design using master components. They are just for to configure and then start doing copies, instances, and the instances are used to design properly, you know. So I really think that you got the point. And the same happens for this one here. I could have many instances of that. Let's have them so. And let's suppose that this one's not going to be black anymore. It's going to be like dark blue. You can see things are changed. So a good practice is to have the master components in other page, like we are going to propose now. I will cut here. I will select both of them, Ctrl X to cut. Then I go here. I created this page named components, you know. And here we have icon, templates, buttons. We have card. I need to organize more here, and I really recommend you to do the same. I did this sort of folder, you know, just to organize things better. It's not necessary. You don't have to do that, but if you want, perhaps it can be more organized, as I think so. I will copy things here, select this button, title, move around, then I can click here, press enter, select these 2 points, make it a little bigger, and I can like duplicate this one, perhaps put here, I don't know. Organizing things. This one I want to use the same size of 2 folders. Not exactly, but you know. Card. I am using singular or plural. So here it has to be icons. Right. I will select these cards. We did that in the last tutorial. If you didn't watch the last tutorial, I recommend you to go there and to watch. So here we have check boxes. I will select here like this, press enter, so I can move these 2 dots, click twice out of that, and just to be a little better. And now I will select, I will lock, because I don't want to click by mistake here. I will press Ctrl V so we can see our checkboxes, the unselected one and the selected one. We can have things like here in the middle if you want, because this element is too small. You decide the place you want to place it. Good. I will click twice. I want that to be black again, and this one to be blue again, this blue here. Then when I I am on this page here, components. You can call components, symbols, the way you want. Now I will back to checkbox, and now everything is blue and black again, right? Like the reference we had. I will delete like this. I can even let it here just to reference. We can remember what we did. All right, now let's go to molecules. Let's go first with this unselected. Let's see the type. I use it here. It's gonna be inter regular 14. So just click and type unselected. Select that. You can use whatever type you want. Like if you want to use poppins. I don't have poppins. Yes, I do. Poppins is quite nice. Poppins light, perhaps, I don't know. Select both of them, and you can like measure things like 8 pixels. Do you remember what I said? Then we can group, like we can call, I don't know, element, something like this. So we have the text and we have the checkbox. We can even change this name, like label. It's a good practice because label can be whatever text, you know. Click out of that. So we have this element here, and the element can be more easy to understand, but let's have things this way. I think it's okay. So let's do with this other one here. We can measure. We can select both of them, align, horizontal, vertical, I'm sorry, center. We can group, we can call element, for instance, or other name you think it's good. So we have 2 elements. I could name them even like, you know, whatever. Okay, let's go ahead. The naming, it's important, but not so important like building up the component. I will let it here just to reference, right? We did, so this one here we could have the elements separate. I created the component here, but we have separate elements, but I think you got the point. But just in case, we could have those here not selected, not together, and this one here too, you know. You learned how to do that. It's not a problem, right? Just to reference if you think it's a good idea to have them here. But you know, what I recommend you could be a good idea that really would make me happy is to have this organization. Like you can have a title and name that atoms, molecules, organisms, templates, and pages and states. If you do that, if you organize your document like this, oh, I would be so proud of you. And even going ahead, you know, like here, you see, we did all things exactly the same. And we went ahead, like measuring things, you know, using this spacing system. I taught you before, many tutorials ago, having the elements really well documented, like background with colors, width, height, status bar with all elements, images, navigation bar, avatar, font, buttons, states, you know. I really recommend you to do that. I taught you before how to do that. Not exactly with these elements, with these components, but once that you understood how to do that, how to build up this sort of documentation, you can go ahead by yourself, right? So let's come back to this checkbox. Now we can do this sort of organisms. just organizing things together, the easier way. Just put in one and then the other below, right? So we can have like unselected, unselect. I'm using 16 here. I think it's a good number, good space, because imagining the user going with his or her thumb fingers in general, index finger, thumb finger, and it's important to have space, enough space, otherwise the user can try to select this one and end up selecting this one. Okay, just some of them, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 unselected, same one. So we have this organism, it's singular, and organisms, it's a little harder to pronounce, plural. We can group them. We could even call like molecules, you know, I'm calling elements, why not to call molecule? But it's important to mention that if you have many different sorts of components, you can't call them just molecules, you know, because if I have like this component checkbox, and if I have as well the radio button, for instance, both of them can be molecules, but I can't call them as molecules. I have to be more specific, otherwise I will make the developers confuse it, and the other designers in the team confuse it as well. So, you know, but it's another matter. We will have classes just to talk about nomenclature and organizing files, but it's not time for now. So let's just group here and call organism, lowercase, organism. Yes. Okay, let's let this thing here. Let's go ahead, and now we need to have more elements. We will not do things by scratch, because in other tutorials we did it, so we don't need to redo. We have to be clever, smart, and reuse things we used before. So let's see here, this card doesn't have that sort of button, so I go to button properly, and I can copy a button from whatever place here, the same button. I come here, checkbox, I can paste it here, and I can make this button a little larger. I just need to click and, like, you know, enlarge a little bit. But here this button wasn't made to be scaled this way, so I can select here and I will click here, align by the middle. Now it's much better. If you didn't do this tutorial, see, I taught how to build up buttons and all the states the buttons they have: enabled, hover, pressed, loading, disabled, primary, secondary, you know, molecules, organisms, templates, all the things we need. If you didn't watch this tutorial, I recommend you to step back, turn around, and go there, watch the tutorial. You can understand better what I'm trying to do here. So we need to this title here. So the same tutorial, we have this title here. We can come here, copy, then paste, and let's type title here, align by left. This button I will type label here. I can click here just to have this auto width. Then I select all those elements and I align by left, right, and the space between them I can like measure this way. 22 is not good, 24. the size, it's too big. I don't like. I'm gonna change that to 24. Let's see here, 20. So let's have the same font size, 20 by 20. And the bottom here, it is like, let's see, 240 by 48. Let's have the same, 240 by 48, exactly the same. So now we can measure 24. I taught you before how to do that, so I'm not spending time to do that again. 24 here too. We need this screen, right? And we did that in other tutorials, like here. And I recommended you to have all those pages, to go there, catch things, copy and paste to save time, right? So I will paste it here. This is screen. I will delete this component, this element too. I will just move things to here. If it's not organized, like, you know, I taught you before how to like click with the right button, then bring to front and to back. I taught that before. I will not spend time here. So we need to let me put this screen closer here, so it's better to measure now. We have 56 by 40. So let's do the same. Top 56, left 40. Good. The difference here is that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here I have just 4 unselected. If you are annoyed with that, you can have one more here, like Control D, move things around, 16, here 16, 2, and here 24. We see. Now it's the same. But here we have more space here, 7, right? Let's have the same. Now 72, 7, 72. This one here is wrong. It should be 7 here, 72 actually. 64 can be good too. So we have this template, right? And now let's go to make the page. We just copy, we drag down, and we just need to fill up information and populate with between quotes real data. Select the countries you want to visit. Now we have to click here and scale 40 by 40 to be the same in both sides. We need to organize things a little better because they aren't anymore. Like 16, okay, here 49, 48, yeah, not bad. So let's have the countries. Brazil, my country. France, I want to visit one day. I don't know when, but many people they want to do that, to visit France. India too, I would like to visit. Japan, of course, and South Africa. I already have been there. Amazing place, amazing people too. And the last one, the selected one, Turkey, I would like to visit too. We could even here select this word and press Ctrl B, or changing here to semi-bold or regular, something like this, because many people they like to work this way, like the element which is selected can be in a different weight, you know, bold, semi-bold, you know, black, jumbo. So we have this page, and now it's time to to talk about the difference we have here, right? We have more components. So I'm gonna go to copy this one here. I can copy all these elements and then I can delete. Right, so let's see. We have, I will ungroup, Control Shift G. I will have just two of them. I will move a little up. So we have here this unselected and we have this selected, right? We did that before. We did master components with that. I will ungroup here. So the elements are separated now. Then we need to copy this one, unselected, disabled. It's a little gray, right? So it's an instance, not a component. We have to break this instance, do the changes, and then make another component, a new one. So I will break it, right button, we can detach instance. Now it's just a normal element. We can come here, checkbox, unselected, disabled, renaming that, the color, this sort of gray, right? Then I make a component again with that. So I have this component. And the beautiful thing, like I can come here, assets, see, we have components slash checkbox, like we organize it in our layers. If I open, I drag and drop something like this, I have this component, this beautiful checkbox. Then if I select here, I can come here in the inspector panel, I can open, and I have two elements, you know, I can just swap, just switch. It's easier, you know, I am doing my interface and I can think, oh, here in this place, it's better to use the other states of the component. I just need to come here and switch. Easier, as easy as a pie. But I have one more component here, and the component is not appearing here because this component is in the wrong page. It's here, you know, checkbox. See the importance of moving things to the right place. So I need to, I will duplicate at first, Control D. I will move down. You know, I have this instance now, and this master. See these four little diamonds. I will press and hold Control X. Now I go to the layers section. I will go here, components, and I will paste it here. This another state, right? Then I come back to checkbox, and if I select that now, I click here, I can see three different states: unselected, selected, and unselected, disabled. This one here, you know, they are the same one. So we just need to do one more. I will duplicate this one. I will break, right button, detach instance. I have to rename. It will be selected, disabled. The color, I will get some color like this. It's a little gray, a little dark blue, and it seems disabled. It's selected like I explained before, but disabled. So now I just make a symbol again. I will duplicate. There are many ways to do that. I have to cut this one from here, and I will bring and paste here. So all my states are organized, right? All of them organized. I come back here, checkbox, and if I want, I can change things like this. Oh, I have this one. Let me zoom in. I have this one too. Oh, I have this one too. Oh, and I have this one. Whoa, it's so much easier to work with components. I know that I don't do that all the time because I'm focused on teach you all guys how to understand a little more the material design components. It's not a series of tutorials focused on components or interfaces, properly speaking. I'm teaching you this sequence of material design components. Then in the future, I have many ideas and I want to bring more and useful things here to the channel, you know, but for a while, I will be focused on it. Material design components, and I have much more components to bring here, and I expect you to enjoy that. Okay, that's right, we have that, you know, all the states here. This selected, disabled, let's see. Some people, they like to have things with the same color here, you know, because it really seems disabled now. Like here too, I will pick up the same color. See the difference? We have the unselected, but it might be selected, the selected one, then we have the unselected and disabled, and we have the selected and disabled too. So we have the four states we planned to do. So let's recap real quickly what we did. So we understood a little more the atoms of this little element, this checkbox. We saw how to organize things in layers and the difference between master component and instance. We talked a little about the H pixels grid. Then we saw how to build up molecules just like this, as easy as a pie. Then we saw a little of organisms, you know, just organizing things this way. It should be selected just to be right. Cool. Then we saw a little of templates. We went to other pages, things that we learned in other tutorials. We copied from there and we pasted here. We organized our template. Then we filled that with populated information. We populated with dummy data, but it seems real data. And then finally we did the states. All right, so that's it. If you liked this tutorial, I would be glad to see some thumbs up or even a comment. I really hope that you enjoyed that and hope to see you in the future in the next tutorial. Bye.